Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so the leaks for Chapter 281 came out early this morning, and we got some major things to talk about. Most importantly, the fact that Julius seems to be the one who's going to be front and center doing most of the fighting against a giant demon god in this chapter. So that is exciting news in itself, and I cannot wait to talk about it because Julius was the character who I'd completely written off when it comes to fighting off against this giant demon. But anyway, let's just jump right into the chapter because I cannot wait to go over all the details that we have leaked so far. Okay, so jumping right into the summary that we got for this week's chapter, which by the way, on Reddit, it was posted by Ravi567. So anyway, the first line of the summary, the lore about the two ancient demons or Majin is revealed. So this is actually kind of interesting because one of the only leaked images that we have that seem to be taking place in the Spade Kingdom, in fact, I think it's the only one that takes place in the Spade Kingdom, it shows Zenon and Yuno talking, and I think this is the moment where Zenon's kind of revealing to Yuno about the ancient demons' history, like how they got trapped in the Spade Kingdom. So that's going to be interesting to find out because I did wonder exactly where these demons come from. I mean, we knew exactly how the one that attacked the Clover Kingdom 500 years ago, how that came to be, but when it came to these ancient demons, we didn't really have any information on exactly where they came from, what their origins are. So it's going to be nice finding out all that information in this chapter, assuming that we do get it, which really, we don't really need the information because they're just kind of characters to be killed off, one by someone in the Clover Kingdom, most likely Asta, and two, the other one being killed off more than likely by Mario Leona after we finally get to see the fight on screen. But anyway, get back into the summary. Julius uses his last page, which is interesting because we did know that his grimoire was broken down to just one page after he got turned back into a 13-year-old boy and kind of almost died when he was fighting off against Patry. And as we continue down the summary, we do end up finding out exactly what the magic or the spell that last page can cast actually is. The ancient demon goes straight for the king, which, I mean, I don't really care about that. I don't think anyone really cares if the king, emperor, whatever you want to call him, in the Clover Kingdom dies. In fact, I would really, really like it if he does die and we get to finally get someone new in that seat. I don't actually know if he has any kids, so I don't know who the next heir would be. I would assume if he doesn't, it would be someone from the other three royal families. I'll be honest, since the position of the Magic Emperor is still taken by Julius, just throw Mario Leona into the seat of being the next king or queen of the country. I would be down with that. It seems like that would be a lot of fun for the series. Kaiser, Kirsch, and Solid try to fight, but the difference of power is too great. Alright, so I did kind of predict this in my last video, saying that Kaiser, he would obviously, as the only captain who's still in the Clover Kingdom, he would obviously try to defend the kingdom against this giant demon, but his abilities are more suited for defense than offense, so he wouldn't be able to take it out. But it's nice seeing Kirsch and Solid again. I mean, we haven't seen him for a long time. I think Kirsch, the last time we actually saw him was during the flashback when Mimosa went to the Heart Kingdom, or she was explaining how her and Kirsch went to the Heart Kingdom when they were kids. But that's the last time I think we saw him in the series. And Solid, we haven't seen since, I think Noelle saved him and Nibra. Joyce's last page is increasing his power and age temporarily, so he's back. So this is actually one of the leaked images we do get. We do get to see that Joyce is back, looking a lot older. He doesn't look like he's as old as he was in the beginning of the series. I would say, I think it says that he only ages about 10 years. So he's going to be about like 23, 24. He does look similar to his original appearance, so a lot of people, as soon as they see him, they can immediately say, hey, that is the Magic Emperor, but they can't really see that he's not as old as he should be. But from the leaked images we get for this week's chapter, we do see that Julius is going to be the one mostly fighting off against the giant demon in the chapter, which you would think because of the fact that his last grimoire page only has a spell that ages him up 10 years, and does increase his magical power, but it only ages him up 10 years, so you would think that since it's the only page he has left, he wouldn't really have that many abilities to fight off against a giant demon god. But we do see that once he gets aged up 10 years, his grimoire actually does gain a few more pages. Now, it's not anywhere near as large as it was when he was fighting off against Patry, but his grimoire does have an extra few pages, so he is going to have some magical abilities to use during the fight. Joyce's spell is extremely short, and he immediately turns back into a kid. Alright, so I'm wondering how long exactly is the spell going to last, because it does seem like, again, from the leaked images, that a majority of the chapter is going to be Julius in his adult version, fighting off against a giant demon. But we only have a few pages leaked, so we don't know exactly how long the chapter is going to be. We don't have a page count for that. And we don't know exactly how many of those pages are actually going to be Julius fighting off against the giant demon. It could be that the Kirsch, Kaiser, and Solid portion of the fight could last a lot longer than I think it's going to last. It could be that there's more characters fighting off against it, and Julius is basically just going to be taking front center. I guess we don't really know exactly how much of the chapter is going to be Julius actually fighting until we get the chapter tomorrow. Let's Go Leave. Asta is finished his training, which I predicted in the last chapter that Asta would mostly be the one after everyone else exhausts their abilities to fight off against a giant demon. More than likely, Asta would be the one to show up and take him out, and it looks like that's going to be happening in this chapter with him coming out of his training and heading over to the Spade Kingdom, and on the way, he's going to be murking that giant demon. The last two leaked images I saw for this week's chapter was of Asta, one coming out of the training ground, or actually flying past Julius as he's going to fight off against a giant demon, and he's only in his dark mode. He's not in his union mode. You can tell because we've already seen this mode before. So we see him flying over towards the giant demon, and then the last final page I saw was of Asta using his black divider, a giant version one, even bigger than the one that he used at the beginning of the time skip, to kill or at least stab the giant demon at the end of the chapter. So at no point does it look like he actually goes into his Devil Union mode, so don't get too excited. We're not going to be seeing that in this week's chapter just yet. More than likely, Tabata is holding that mode off until we get to the Spade Kingdom and he's fighting off against someone of a higher tier, maybe against Dante, maybe against one of the actual devils that showed up. And one thing the summary doesn't mention is the fact that Damiano seems to be working alongside Julius to defeat the giant demon, and it seems like he's basically going to be using his skills to not only lower the demon's mana, so that he can basically weaken it, although he does mention in the chapter, because I think this is one of the only pages on Twitter that's translated, that the demon's power is too great for him to really lower it too much. But it seems like he's also going to be using his ability to give Julius a power boost so that he will stand a better chance of defeating the demon, even though, as we see, it doesn't end up working out due to the fact that Julius' spell doesn't last as long as it needs to. So yeah, like I said, a lot of interesting and exciting things are going to be going down in this week's chapter. I mean, we got Julius showing up to fight, and when I said in the last chapter that I did not think Julius was going to be part of this fight, I meant it. Because he was only 13 years old, we didn't know what his last page could do, we didn't know what spell it had. So as far as I was aware, he had nowhere near the ability to even participate in this fight. And like I said earlier, it's going to be cool seeing Kirsch and Solid again after so long, but I kind of wish we would get more people involved in this fight, not just those two. Like, I really think that this is a level of threat that we really need pretty much all the squads gathering together to fight off against a giant demon, not just 3 or 4 people. And then, of course, we got the tease of Asa showing up after his training is finally finished and on his way to the Spade Kingdom, just casually taking down a giant demon, even though we don't get to see his Devil Union mode, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, that's it for the spoilers for this week's chapter. Now, before I end the video, I do want to mention that I did hear about the fact that the anime for Black Clover is going to be ending with episode 170 in March. Now, I saw a lot of people panicking about this. In fact, some of my friends who do watch Black Clover are also panicking about the fact that the series is ending on March. But you guys got to remember, 1, we're going to be getting a special announcement on that day as well. And 2, Black Clover's anime for the past year and a half has been very popular. It's been constantly in the top 10 charts in Japan and around the world as well. And even just a few months ago, it was reported in Japan that Black Clover's anime is the 4th most profitable anime currently running. So I doubt that something that popular and bringing in that much money would be getting canceled. So what I'm guessing is actually happening is that Black Clover is basically going from being an ongoing anime to either taking a break or being seasonal, just like My Hero Academia, due to the fact that more than likely, and this hasn't been officially announced just yet, but more than likely the same studio that animates Black Clover is going to be taking over the return of Bleach. So yeah, like I said, more than likely the anime is not being canceled, it's just going on break while they work on Bleach, which would actually be a good thing because once it ends up coming back after Bleach is done, the manga should be further along than the anime currently is, because the anime is not that far behind the manga currently. And since each episode of the anime covers about 2 to 3 chapters of source material, by the time we got to chapter like 195, we would be very much caught up and had to go back into filler, and no one wants that. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, don't worry about the anime being done because of the fact that it should be coming back at some point once Bleach is over. We just have to look forward to that. And until it does come back, we have the manga to keep going forward. I know some people are thinking that because the anime is getting canceled, the manga might also begin canceled and this might be the final arc. But Tabata did already mention, or at least his editor or previous editor did mention, that there are plans of doing 2 more arcs after this already. So I highly doubt that this is going to be the final arc, but let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this whole situation and what you thought about the spoilers for this week's chapter. But that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories, and I will catch you guys in the next video.